What happens when America's sweetheart finally meets her match in an interview that goes completely off the rails? Today, we're breaking down the explosive moment that left an entire studio stunned. When Kelly Clarkson stormed off the Today with Jenna and Friends, set after a confrontation nobody saw coming. If you love behind the scenes drama and celebrity clashes like this, don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment on what you think really pushed Kelly over the edge. The morning began like any other press stop. Kelly arrived at NBC Studios in her signature style, radiating the same charm that made her America's first idol. She was there to promote her new album and tour, a simple 15-minute segment her team had scheduled weeks in advance. Jenna Bush Hager greeted her warmly, opening with compliments about Kelly's outfit and questions about her kids. The two slipped into the familiar rhythm of morning TV banter. Kelly laughed at Jenna's jokes, told a lighthearted story about her daughter's new obsession with makeup, and even teased a few surprises from her latest music. But then the tone shifted. "So Kelly, your fans are loving the new single," Jenna said, leaning forward with that practiced TV enthusiasm. "But I have to ask, there are rumors circulating about tension behind the scenes of your talk show. Care to address that?" Kelly's smile faltered, just for a moment, before returning. "Every workplace has its challenges," she said smoothly. "But I'm incredibly grateful for my team and everything we've built together." Jenna didn't let it drop. "Right. But there have been reports about your management style being demanding. Some former employees have even called the environment toxic." The studio seemed to grow colder. Kelly's smile stayed in place, but her eyes hardened. "That's a harsh word, Jenna. I have high standards because I care about putting out quality content." Jenna pressed harder. "But when multiple sources are saying the same thing, stories of staff being fired for small mistakes, unrealistic expectations, even people crying in bathrooms, doesn't that give you pause?" Kelly's hands tightened together in her lap. "I think we should probably focus on the music," she said firmly. "That's what I'm here to talk about." But Jenna leaned in further. "Kelly, you've always been open about your struggles. Authenticity is what your fans love. So when allegations like this surface, don't you think they deserve to hear your side?" Kelly's tone sharpened. "My side of the story. I have been nothing but professional and supportive to everyone who works with me. These stories are not accurate." Jenna glanced down at her notes. "Well, there was one specific report where you allegedly screamed at a production assistant over a wrong coffee order. Even made them redo your entire dressing room setup." Kelly's composure finally cracked. Her voice rose. "That is absolutely not true. I have never screamed at anyone about coffee or anything else. That is completely fabricated." "So, you're saying all these reports are lies?" Jenna shot back. Kelly took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "I'm saying people leave jobs with different perspectives, but I stand by my character and how I treat my team." The tension was now undeniable. Cameras kept rolling, though even the crew looked uneasy. Jenna's co-hosts exchanged glances, unsure if they should step in. "Kelly, I have to push back here," Jenna said, her tone sharper now. "We're talking about a pattern of behavior, described consistently. At what point do you take responsibility for creating a culture where employees feel they can't speak up?" Kelly's voice rose again, her warmth gone. "Take responsibility for what exactly? For having standards, for expecting people to do their jobs, for caring about the quality of what we create." Jenna didn't blink. "No, for creating a culture of fear, where employees are afraid to make mistakes." "That's ridiculous, Jenna!" Kelly shot back, her voice cutting through the silence. "You're sitting here making accusations based on gossip and anonymous sources, asking me to defend myself against things that never happened the way they're being spun." The studio went still. The only sound was the steady hum of the cameras. Kelly's stare was sharp enough to slice through glass, while Jenna shifted slightly, realizing she'd pushed too far, but also knowing she couldn't back down now without looking weak. "You know what, Jenna?" Kelly finally said, a dry laugh escaping her lips. Sharp, humorless. "I came here to talk about my music, to connect with fans, to have a positive conversation, not to be ambushed with tabloid trash dressed up as journalism." "This isn't an ambush, Kelly," Jenna insisted, her tone stiff but defensive. "This is journalism. When serious allegations exist, we have a responsibility to ask the hard questions." Kelly's eyebrows arched. "Journalism. Is that what we're calling this now? Because it feels a lot more like a setup to me. Tell me, did someone from my former management company reach out? Is this part of some coordinated smear campaign?" Jenna blinked, genuinely caught off guard. "Kelly, nobody reached out to us. These stories are already public. We're just giving you a platform to respond." "A platform?" Kelly scoffed. "No, this is a trap. You invited me here under false pretenses. You told my team we'd be talking about my album and my tour. Instead, you blindsided me with character assassination on Lev TV." One of Jenna's co-hosts, sensing the tension was about to shatter, jumped in desperately. "Maybe we could pivot to the new music." "Kelly, your fans are really excited about the sound of this album." But Kelly wasn't letting go. Her attention was locked on Jenna, her voice like steel. "No. I want to finish this conversation. Since Jenna here thinks she's breaking news, let's talk about ethics. Did you or anyone on your team reach out to me, or my representatives, for comment before deciding to air these so-called allegations on national television?" Jenna hesitated, her voice quieter now. "We're giving you the chance to respond right now." Kelly leaned forward, eyes flashing. "That's not how it works, and you know it. Real journalists don't ambush their guests with unverified claims. They don't build segments around gossip from anonymous sources. They follow standards. They corroborate. They give fair notice." The studio was dead silent, every person in the room frozen. Kelly's voice grew sharper, stronger. No longer defensive but commanding, as though she had seized control of the entire set. "Let me ask you something, Jenna. How many of these anonymous sources did you actually speak to yourself? How many of them went on the record, with their names attached, willing to stand behind their claims?" Jenna's composure cracked for the first time. "Kelly, I think we're getting off track." "No." Kelly cut in, her voice ringing with finality. "This is exactly the track we should be on. You wanted to play journalist. Then let's talk about journalistic standards. Did you corroborate these stories with independent sources? Did you give me adequate time to prepare a response? Or did you just decide a viral headline mattered more than the truth?" Jenna was visibly rattled now, glancing off camera toward the producers for rescue. "We've followed all appropriate protocols," she stammered. "Protocols," Kelly snapped, her voice slicing through the silence. "What protocols? Making me look like a monster on live television based on internet gossip. Is that in the NBC handbook?" One co-host jumped in, his voice calm but trembling. "Kelly, we're all on the same side here. Nobody wants to make you look bad." "Really?" Kelly turned toward him with utter disbelief. "From where I'm sitting, that's exactly what's happening. I've been in this business for 20 years. I know the difference between a real interview and a hit job. It's not a hit job." Jenna protested, but her voice wavered, her conviction crumbling. "Then what would you call it?" Kelly shot back. "I came here in good faith to promote my music. And you're painting me as some tyrant boss who terrorizes her employees. Do you have any idea what that does to someone's reputation? To their family?" Her voice cracked on that word. Family. And for just a moment, the vulnerability that made her beloved flickered through the anger. But it was gone as quickly as it appeared, replaced by steel. "My children are going to see this. My friends. My actual employees who know me. They'll watch this and wonder why I didn't defend myself harder." So let me be crystal clear, these allegations are false. They're hurtful. And they're being presented without context, without evidence. Kelly, we're not trying to hurt you, the co-host said softly. But you are hurting me. Kelly fired back, her voice shaking with fury. You're doing it on purpose, because you think controversy makes good TV. You think ratings are worth more than my character, more than my livelihood. Jenna finally found her voice again, though it was thin, unsteady. That's not fair. We're asking legitimate questions about serious allegations. Legitimate questions. Kelly suddenly rose to her feet, startling the crew. Fine, here's one for you, Jenna. Have you ever managed a team of creative professionals? Have you ever been responsible for a multi-million-dollar production where dozens of people depend on you for their jobs, their paychecks, their family's survival? That's not relevant to whether you treat people with respect. It's absolutely relevant, Kelly thundered. She was pacing now, gesturing with her hands as the cameras struggled to follow her. You sit there judging my leadership when you have no idea what it's like to carry that weight, to be expected to meet impossible standards and smile through it all like sunshine every second of every day. The studio was frozen. Jenna sat stiff in her chair, her face pale, while Kelly's voice cut sharper with every word. Do you know what it's like to have every decision scrutinized? Every conversation dissected? Every facial expression twisted into evidence of who you are? That's my reality, Jenna. And today you chose to contribute to it. Kelly, please, sit down. Let's have a civilized discussion. Jenna tried, her voice trembling. Kelly let out a bitter laugh. Civilized. There's nothing civilized about ambushing your guest with rumors. You want to talk about toxic behavior. Let's talk about this. Using your platform to spread gossip about someone who trusted you enough to show up here. The silence that followed was suffocating. Every crew member, every co-host, every audience member seemed to hold their breath. You know what the real tragedy is? Kelly continued, her voice now low and deadly calm, more cutting than her shouting had been. I respected you, Jenna. I thought you were different from the tabloid vultures. I thought you had integrity. I do have integrity, Jenna said, her voice breaking. That's why I had to ask. No, Kelly interrupted, her tone razor sharp. Integrity would have been calling my publicist and saying, hey, we want to address these rumors. Can Kelly prepare a statement? Integrity would have been giving me the basic courtesy of knowing what I was walking into. This, she gestured at the studio around her, eyes blazing. This is cowardice disguised as journalism. The co-host tried one last time. Maybe we could take a quick break, regroup, start fresh with the music. Kelly turned to him, incredulous. Start fresh. Are you serious? You think I'm going to sit back down, smile, and talk about tour dates after being publicly humiliated in front of millions? You think I'm going to pretend the last 10 minutes didn't happen? It doesn't have to be humiliation, Jenna said quietly, her voice barely audible over the silence in the room. This could be an opportunity for you to set the record straight, to share your side of the story. My side of the story. Kelly repeated, her tone rising again. Jenna, I've been telling you my side of the story for the past 10 minutes, and you've dismissed every word. You've already decided who I am based on gossip and anonymous posts online. Don't pretend you haven't. That's not true. Jenna began. Isn't it? Kelly cut her off. Because every time I try to explain myself, you come back with another accusation, another so-called source, another reason why I should be ashamed. You're not asking for my side. You're fishing for a confession. The air in the studio had grown so heavy you could feel it pressing down. Kelly stood, unflinching, staring across at Jenna. The host opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Kelly shook her head slowly. This right here is everything that's wrong with media today. You've forgotten there are human beings behind the stories you're so eager to tell. Forgotten that words have consequences, that reputations matter. People have families. People have lives outside of your segment. Kelly, we never intended to hurt you. But you did, Kelly snapped. You hurt me in front of millions. And don't you dare act like it was accidental. You chose to put drama over decency. Sensationalism over truth. She walked back to her chair, lifted her purse with deliberate calm, and faced the cameras head-on. Her voice, steadier now, carried the weight of conviction. To anyone who works with me, has worked with me, or may in the future, I want you to hear this directly. I would never intentionally create an environment where people feel unsafe or unwelcome. Yes, my standards are high. Yes, I demand excellence, but abuse, mistreatment, never. I would not betray the people who make my work possible. Her tone softened slightly as she continued. And to my fans, you've supported me for decades. Please understand, this angry, defensive person you're seeing right now, that's not who I am. This is what happens when your character is attacked on live television without a fair chance to defend yourself. Jenna finally found her voice. Kelly, we're giving you that chance right now. Kelly's eyes flickered with something like pity. No, Jenna. You're giving me a chance to grovel. To apologize for things I haven't done. To validate your narrative. That's not the same thing. As she adjusted the strap of her purse, drawing in a slow breath. I've spent my career trying to lift people up, to use my platform for hope and positivity. I've shared my struggles, my depression, my divorce, my body image battles, so others would feel less alone. And this is how it's repaid, with character assassination dressed up as journalism. The co-host leaned forward, desperate now. Kelly, please, don't leave like this. Let's end on something positive. For a fleeting second, Kelly paused. But then she shook her head firmly. You want positive? Positive would be journalists remembering their job is to inform, not destroy. Positive would be treating guests as people, not as clickbait. Positive would be hosts like you understanding that responsibility comes with your platform. She turned toward the exit, heels clicking sharply against the studio floor. But before disappearing, she looked back one final time. And Jenna, next time you plan to ambush someone with accusations, at least have your facts straight. Because this, she gestured to the set. This isn't journalism. It's cruelty with better lighting. With that, Kelly Clarkson walked off the Today with Jenna and Friends stage, leaving behind a shell, shocked host, a silent co-host, and a moment destined to be replayed for weeks. What was supposed to be a cheerful 15-minute album promo had unraveled into a masterclass in live television implosion, proof of how quickly things can turn when sensationalism collides with someone who refuses to be broken. So, what do you think really pushed Kelly over the edge? Was it Jenna's aggressive questioning, the lack of transparency, or something deeper, something about how our culture treats strong, successful women? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more behind the scenes drama you won't see anywhere else.